So in this video we're going to take a look at the grip and how sometimes I see a lot of golfers with strong grips yet they hit pushes or slices to the right of the target. So we're going to discuss that and how this sort of strong grip can really create other major issues in the golf swing, which is really going to affect your ball strike and again control of that club face. Okay, let's chat about the grip first and what is a strong grip. So we're going to reference this around the right-handed golfer. So with the left hand, lead hand a bit too far over the top, so maybe more sort of 4 knuckles showing, 3, 4 possibly. And then the right hand, the trail hand, is going to go too far underneath the grip. So this is what we're referencing as a strong golf grip. Now, generally, that would create more of a hook to the left of the target because obviously that can create the club face to close on the downswing and maybe through that impact position. Yet, from my experience, I see so many golfers will complain that they're hitting pushes to the right, slices to the right, real poor ball striking, yet they've got a really strong grip. So let's explain what's happening through that golf swing to create that slice to the right, even though you have a strong golf grip. So as I say, grip's in a strong position. Typically, the club face is going to start square, isn't it? Nobody really wants to look at a closed club face position, but obviously the grip and the handle is now in that strong position. So as you would take the club back, the club face is going to start to close through the actual golf swing. So you typically see it start to get very turned over this sort of first section of the backswing where the face points more down to the ground, and then very sort of closed where the face of the golf starts to point directly upwards to the sky at the top of the backswing. And then on the way down, this is where the issues or the compensations are going to start happening, because if that golf was to sort of, drop it in, start to turn, rotate, all those sort of ideas that we sort of want to be doing and want to promote in the golf swing, the club face is going to come in very close at impact and we're going to see some big hooks to the left of target. So the compensations that I would generally see for the golfer from that very close club face position is as they come down to the golf ball, now this downswing, is they start to rise the handle, we start to early extend, because that's going to help the handle to come up, and that's going to try and sort of reopen that club face in effect. So if I stand this way to the camera, so you imagine if we've got a strong golf grip, we will come in a more of a neutral position, which we'd like to maybe sort of see, but massively close the club face. So how do I reopen that club face now at this sort of impact position? I'm going to lift the handle up and I'm going to push my hips forward and I'm sort of early extending and I'm in this sort of position, so very high handle at impact. Obviously that is going to massively affect our lie angle, our dynamic lie at impact now, so we know more toe down is typically going to create more of that rightness. The hands aren't obviously rotating, we're like holding that club face off, all in a bid to stop that club face closing and that hook to the left. So you can see it causes some massive issues. Yes, the source of the issue is the grip, okay, but that's causing you to early extend, to rise up through the shot, and probably when that happens there's no rotation in the body, very little weight shift, and obviously the handle gets lifted up nice and high, so it's very difficult to control. You're losing speed, you're losing control of that club face, you're losing the control of your low point, which is then the consistency of your ball strike. Everything typically then goes out the window, so you can see it causes some major issues. Okay, so I'm going to hit a shot, and I'm going to try and do that. I'm a bit concerned now from the camera because you could be right in the hitting area. But I'm going to take that strong golf grip, so I've got 4 knuckles, hands too far over that lead hand, trail hand now getting too far under, so it's that V now points way outside my trail shoulder in that position, but then I'm going to try and sort of simulate that impact position. I'm going to try and keep this club face square to target. Yeah, that feels really awkward, really slow. Felt like I got stuck at this part of the golf swing. I think a lot of golfers can relate to that. When you get to this position here, it's like this elbow, the lead elbow is very high, the shoulder's in an awkward position, and it just gets a bit stuck. It doesn't sort of flow. And that's probably a good example there. Look at that ball flight there. So club path just slightly from the inside, nothing major. You see the club face nearly 3 degrees open. Look at my attack handle, it's like 0.2 positive. So I've hit that slightly on the way up, but pretty much on that level point. So a good screen to look at here is, as the club comes down, the vertical yellow line indicates where my low point is, and then where the club head is where I make contact with the golf ball, and you can see that the club starts to rise up. So see my low point now is 0.4 of an inch B for behind the golf ball. It was a poor strike. I could feel the toe of the club sort of just push into the ground at that point of the swing. So the strike was a little bit on that sort of toe side as well. Okay, so that felt really weak. Didn't feel good at all. Really struggling to get some power on that. So let's just talk about that grip. Let's get to the main issue. I know a lot of us as golfers, we don't like changing the grip, do we? It's always a big change. It always feels very, very uncomfortable to us. So if you're seeing those patterns that I've just sort of described there, then I think you're just going to have to start changing this grip a little bit. Now, when you change it, depending on how severe you are in that strong position, going all the way to what we call a neutral or an ideal position is a very big jump. So you might not want to do that in one foul swoop because it will just be quite difficult for you to sort of maybe absorb in one go. Plus, if you start getting really neutral and then still extend with the handle, the club face now is even more open because you're actually neutralising your grip. So you can start off with hitting more right shots until you learn how to sort of stay in that posture, rotate and release a little bit more through the golf ball. So just do it a little bit, just take that left lead hand and just turn it back to the left a little bit more. So as you look down, you might see maybe 2 knuckles just touching 3 instead of 4. The thumb on your lead hand might start to go a little bit more towards the top of the handle, just slightly off centre to the right, but a little bit more to the top as opposed to it hanging off on that right hand side. And then that should then allow you to put your right hand, your trail hand on, and just sort of cover that thumb, and then start to see that little V between your thumb and your forefinger a little bit more again on top of the actual handle itself. Now again, this is going to feel very, very strange when we first do it, so just do that and have some practice swings to start with. Okay, just to absorb the feel, and I guarantee at this point here the club will feel a bit strange up at the top of the backswing. You'll feel like you haven't got control of it, which again is never a good thing for us as golfers, is it? You'll soon start to get used to that, so do that a few times and then we'll hit some shots. Probably what I'd say just to start off with is just hit some nice sort of 3/4 ones, not tons of power, but just get a feel of that grip, just sort of very smooth back, smooth forward. That's a nice shot. Obviously that grip feels comfortable to me, but you might not hit straight shots straight away. You're going to hit probably ones to the right to start off with. And if that happens, then start to then think a little bit about how you can let the club release a little bit more, how you can let the body turn through that golf shot a little bit more. This is probably another separate video to do that, but I think your first port of call, the source of the issue, is generally this grip. I just rotate my hands a little bit more. That went up a little bit more that left-hand side. So just do some little soft swings to start off with, and then sort of gradually build that up as this feel of the grip gets a little bit better. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully that will help your golf game in grip and get those strikes a little bit better, a bit more control of that club face. There'll be another video popping up there, so you can go click on that and enjoy that, and hopefully we'll catch you all very soon.